I can't really see what you're looking at. I know you're looking at an elephant in the rain, but I've got the monitor covered up, so I'm not sure what Manu is showing you. But I think what we should do right now is turn the ambience right on up. Go on. Let's listen to the sound of the rain. A fitting end. Fitting end to the day, I feel. Especially because the roof's developed a leak right above me. All the water's being channeled into my lap. Feels somewhat appropriate. Right, you know how you get storm chasers? Well, I tried to be a storm runner and outrun the storm, and I just didn't manage it. And there's so much water coming in, I might actually have to turn us around. We can't drive anywhere in this. We're going to have to sit it out. Hopefully it doesn't last for too long. I can't even see home. It's just a haze of rain, if that makes any sense. Oh boy. Rainy season in the Mara. Pretty. Very pretty. Slightly damp, but very pretty. I wish we had a lion in the rain. Lions always look so thoroughly disgruntled with their lives when they're caught in a rainstorm like this. Luckily, I have Elka. Elka has once again proved that she is thoughtful beyond measure, and although we don't have windscreen wipers, I have a squeegee, so I can squeegee my windscreen. I had to actually give the inside a jolly good clean, but now, you know, if I want to be able to see, I can get rid of and clear myself some space so I can see through the drips. Squeegee! Okay, so as we squeegee away at our windscreen, let's head over to Brent, who's apparently squeegeeing away himself.
Yes, well, oh dear, we got a leak somewhere there, Archie. I can't see where it's coming through. Oh no, it's not too bad. Yes, we are squeegeeing away. We thought we might not get wet today. Obviously, you can see I was incredibly wrong. Now, we are trying to slowly make our way towards the mountain. I think this is a really big storm. I don't think there's going to be much gap through it. So let's hope the road up the mountain to camp doesn't get too bad. You can see we can't move very fast in this weather. And being a Land Rover, in general, are not made for tall people. So you can see, if I actually want to see where I'm going, I'm going to put my head down like this and squeegee. So far the rain covers. Oh, here we go. No, we can't move. It's going to start raining. It started to rain a lot harder now. And I can't even see the balanites trees and barely make them out. Okay, so while we try survive the storm, let's go to Noel, who hopefully has a storm of dogs chasing things a little later.
So we've had a bit of movement, and it has cooled down considerably. Our cloud cover has come across nicely, and I've been hearing some oxpeckers in the distance behind us, so that generally means that there's some sort of a prey species that is meandering around back there. I'm hoping it's impala, and I'm hoping they come out into the open here, and I'm hoping our wild dogs see them, and I'm hoping we get a bit of action. Those are all of my hopes for this afternoon. And I really think, even though they have definitely eaten something this morning, I really think that we have a good chance of seeing something happening. The area that we're in, this little open area, especially as it starts to get darker, tends to be a very good place for impala and wildebeest and zebra even to rest for the evening. Not resting by sleeping, But sort of, it's an open area, and they've got thick bush around them, so that they can be in the open and feel safe, although I don't know how safe they are. And then if they need to move into the thicker areas, they can, because remember, at night the prey species can't see. Now, something that's very interesting about wild dogs is, depending on how hungry they are, depending if they have pups, and depending on how much food they've eaten, depends on whether or not they're stationary at night, just resting and holed up somewhere, or if they're moving. I've caught wild dogs resting just as much as I've caught them mobile or moving and hunting during the evening. So it's something that you'll read in books, that they sort of lay down and rest at night, very similar to a domesticated dog. But in my personal experience, I've had so many different scenarios that I think we will just remember our little adage that the animals do not read the textbooks, and just sort of carry on. And that's very interesting per area that I've worked, as well as per particular pack, and then all of the other reasons that I gave as well. One of my most memorable sightings of my entire decade of guiding was with a pack that I used to work with in the Northwest Province, and we went down to the brand new den site. It's a den site that they had used time and time again, and we got down there and we waited for about 20 minutes, and 12 one-week-old little pups came out and emerged quickly and gave us about a 5-minute view and then went away. So we were checking the den site to see, because we hadn't seen the alpha female, we hadn't seen if she had sort of dropped her litter yet. So we were checking that area just to triple check and see what was going on. And we had a little bit of tracks that were there, and we were surprised by that amazing sighting. I mean, they could fit in the palm of your hand. They were so teeny tiny. The den was then closed for about 3 weeks after that. And then reopened. Wild dog dens in a lot of the places that I've worked before are opened much, much earlier than with lion or leopard den, particularly with leopard dens. Leopard dens tend to be kept sort of off limits for about 3 months, and they don't just have the one den site, they'll have 2 or 3 den sites throughout that period. Lions, it depends, they tend to bring their little ones out and move them around, so sometimes you can catch them here or there, but it's usually the same process as well. And with wild dogs are super relaxed with people and tend not to be as they don't tend not to be pushed as much as long as you're behaving ethically around the den site. And so many of the places I've worked, the dens have been opened up very early, and those pups are absolutely the cutest thing you've ever seen in your entire life. They look exactly like the adults, tiny, 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 covered in these really unique markings. So special. Now, we have talked a lot about IDing lion. We've talked about IDing leopard. We haven't talked about IDing cheetah yet, not with me at least, because we haven't seen any cheetah with me yet. But let's talk about IDing wild dogs. So every coat pattern on a wild dog is unique to the individual. And so the way that you ID them has to do with that coat pattern. And so, for instance, one of the places I used to work, the ecologist needed photos of every dog's left side, every dog's right side, and the whole tail and the face. And that is how you can tell which dog is which, and then they keep a catalog that way. So if you work with a pack for a long time, you can yourself as a guide know who is who. But for me, for instance, I only see this pack every now and then, so I can take photos now and then send them through, and we can have I say cards, but little ID kits, that's what I was looking for, made up, and I'll probably make my own at some point, which will be interesting. It's my nerd adventure on the guiding side. But we're waiting for them to get moving still. Let's head on over to James, who has a tortoise.
There is a tortoise, a leopard tortoise, and very shy. He was having a drink, and now has decided that he'd rather put his face into the corner of that bush and rather not acknowledge our presence. It is a Sisyphus bush, the buffalo thorn, and now he thinks we can't see him, you see. As I've said before, a little bit like a 2-year-old who hides his face and then thinks that you can't see him because he can't see anything. I think the tortoise is doing the same thing. Now, he is not the only cheloniid in here, oh no. There are, in fact, some terrapins, marsh terrapins, in the puddle or pan over here. And can you see any, Ferg? There were some knocking about in the water. I wonder if I shouldn't just get out and see if I can't spot one. And of course, those of you who have just joined us, and obviously we're not on school drive anymore, remember hashtag Safari Live. You can talk to us or use the YouTube chat stream. We'd love to hear from you. You can see the weather building down to the south. Now what I'm hoping is that my presence here will inspire some kind of chelonid activity. There are some, I can see them just under the surface here, but they don't seem to be wanting to move much. Anyway, I'll tell you what we'll do is I'll go to the tortoise here and show you how big it is. Quite difficult to tell where we are. I'm not going to pick it up, I'm just going to sit next to him. Hello, how are you? I was never very good at making friends. See if that's improved somewhat. Hello? Are you well? Yeah, he's not speaking to me at all. Anyway, he's quite an old fellow for this area. He's quite large for this area too. And just gone back into his shell, I'm afraid. So that's how big he is. And I'm afraid the rest of them won't stick their heads out of the water, unfortunately. Anyway. These little water holes are ecosystems unto themselves, and I always think they're quite fun to explore. And then of course the other thing we have is the foam nest frog, or the nest of the foam nest frog. And where the frog is I'm not sure, but she won't be in the nest. That nest will be full of eggs, beautifully placed above the water, and I'm sure before very long the little froglets will emerge and begin swimming around in the water below, much to the delight of the marsh terrapin. Okay, on we go. We're just checking all the pans at the moment to see if we can't pick up Tingana or some tracks or evidence of him. Nothing just yet. And those elephants, unfortunately, that we had earlier disappeared into the thick stuff. I was rather hoping to spend some time with them. I spent very little time with elephants since I got back from Kenya. What else have we around the corner? Excuse me, sorry, I just need to fix something. It's driving me mad. Wires have minds of their own. Okay, we're okay. Are we there? Lucas, I'm going to challenge you deeply. There's a very small bird that's flown up there. Ooh, there it sits. It might be a flycatcher of sorts. No, it is a female red-backed shrike. Can you see it? To the right of where you are, just above the fork. Yes. On that branch. Keep going on the branch you were on there. That's it. Keep going right and up, and there it is. Well done. This is called throwing your cameraman under the bus very effectively. That is the female red-backed shrike. She's a little bit more camouflaged than her friend. Okay, on we go. Sound of some francolins up ahead. Not alarmed at all, just giving their calls. Ooh, on the ground. Oh, don't go away now. There we go. The lilac-breasted roller has clearly found some source of food there on the floor, and very cleverly turned his back to us. Now you see, that is very intelligent. What he's done is he's taken his bright side and shown it to the front. So he's perceived us as obviously some kind of a threat. And so he's turned his brown and much more camouflage side to us. Very clever. Let's go and see what he was eating. There's a starling up there as well. I suspect termites. You see anything there, Ferg? You jump out. No, I don't see any termites, but I see two interesting flowers. One is called a flannel weed, so named, can you see that, folk? So named for the very soft flannelly-like quality of the leaves. And the other, of course, is one of my very favourites out here. It's called Lantana rugosa, and it makes a what's it, brandy bush, that's right. It makes a delicious little purple berry. Very few of them. They're like a sort of treasure you might find here in the summer. Ooh. Ooh. Now, oh. There. Can you see it there, Ferg? On this leaf, there is a moth. Bright yellow and black. No, it's not. Is it a moth? Yes, I think it is a moth. Can you see it? I would try and point at it, but I think it might fly. It's a quite stunning colour. It's just underneath the stick here. No, you're not going to be able to see it. I'm going to try and turn the bush. See him there? On the top of this little branch. Is that not just beautiful? Some sort of diurnal moth. I don't know what species it is. How magnificent. Let me see if I can't break this off. Oh, there he goes. He is quite stunning. Let's get him fly again. There, he's gone now. Beautiful. We'll try and find out what that is. Good. Okay, well, same colour as Tingana, really, that moth was, just not quite as many claws or teeth. Let us continue. Oh, Paula, you say you love the colour. I do too. There is a raptor flying over there, Fergus. I'm really throwing you firmly under many buses today. That is a yellow-billed kite. How do I know that, you say? Goodness gracious, you say, he's good, that fellow. In actual fact, you'd be wrong. All I saw was a little fork in his tail, so it's very easy to identify, even at that speed or at that height. Very artistic, Fergus, I like it. A yellow-billed kite. Unsurprisingly has a yellow bill. Just got to move my wires again. This hat is not very good with wires. Alrighty, I think we should head back to Wild Dogs, see if they've managed to scratch themselves sufficiently to get up and go hunting back.
James, unfortunately, this is the laziest pack of wild dogs I have ever encountered. I have never seen dogs sit still for this long, ever. Usually their ADD is way too much, but I think they're obviously just extremely comfortable here. The only other time I've seen this pack was maybe 100 meters from here, not far. They definitely, this is a nice space for them. They feel extra super comfortable. Again, it's gotten even cooler since the last time we spoke. And the other half of the pack that we were with in the beginning, where the visual wasn't 100%, they are moving a bit more than this part of the pack. So I have a feeling that shortly, and by shortly it could be 5 minutes, it could be 25 minutes, we'll have to wait and see, that part of the pack will come up and join this part, and then they'll do their greeting that I absolutely love with their whining sounds, and then they'll start moving and they'll head off. So I was saying to Vildi, what I would like for them to do is that part of the pack must come greet this part of the pack. They must do their whole thing. Then they must run down Vuatella access, and they must go to quarantine, where we know there's lots of wildebeest and impala. Now, for those of you that don't really like a hunt, I'm so sorry if any of that's offensive, but if you want to see nature in action and you want to see predator-prey interaction, wild dog and prey interaction is, for me, the epitome. It is the top, especially if you get a nice open area, because then you can see how they function and how they look and how they smell. I've told the story before about the dogs that chased the impala to the side of my vehicle, and she jumped, and they estimated the whole jump in the arc, and they caught her there on the other side. They're magnificent. It's absolutely magnificent. Now, that would be something that's interesting. I used to get a lot of guests when I was still driving, guests that would ask why we don't track the animals with a drone. And I used to say, the animals need to be able to go where they need to go. But wild dogs on a hunt with a drone would be very interesting. Sorry, Faith, I missed your question there. I think that Philip was asking if I had seen a wild dog kill. I'll wait there. Sorry, guys, we've got a little bit of a delay between us and Faith. All right, Bill. Sorry, Bill, I think you're asking if I'd ever seen a wild... I'm so sorry, Bill. My comms are a little bit scratchy. I'm not picking up quite what Faith is saying. But things that I have seen with wild dogs, and maybe I'll hit the nail on the head here. I've seen them with their pups. I've seen them hunting. I've seen them interacting. I've seen them get lost and come back together. I've seen them chase leopards up trees. I've seen them chase elephants and then be chased by elephants. I've seen lions killing them. I've unfortunately been with a pack that has gotten rabies and had to help remove the last member of the pack who came into a lodge and was exhibiting signs. So rabies, sometimes they foam, sometimes they don't, but a lot of what you'll see exhibited, especially with wild dogs, is that they're fine with humans, but they come super close, too close. And then this particular one was coming into lodges and started chasing the night guards around, and then lying in the middle of the lounge area. Let's see, what else have I seen wild dogs do? I've had wild dogs make a kill while I was on foot. That was absolutely amazing. That was probably one of the top sightings I've had in my career. Yeah, I don't know. I've been lucky. I've been really lucky with wild dogs. One of my most recent sightings was when I was in Zambia, and there was pups, and there were hooded vultures around. Hooded vultures like to not only eat carrion, but they also like to eat the dung, or I should say the scat rather, of predators. And they were busy coming down trying to eat the scat, and the little pups were chasing these hooded vultures. And then later in the evening, a hyena came up near where the wild dogs were moving, and they chased the spotted hyena off. The poor hyena was so scared. I was not expecting those dogs. I've also been part of a relocation project with wild dogs. So in South Africa in particular, there's been a huge amount of work done on relocating dogs. There's a place called De Wild that helps raise up dogs and then repopulate in the wild. And there's a few other places that do some work, but that's the one that I've heard the most about. Now, relocating wild dogs is a very tricky process. It takes a lot of time and effort. And the first time I was ever encountered this scenario was up in the northern side of Limpopo province, and we had 2 partitions. We had males and females on either side, and we were working with a researcher, and she was very good at what she was doing, and so there was a partition in the middle, and they had greeted, and they'd been with each other long enough, so they decided that, okay, they'd be fine. And when they lifted up this partition, unfortunately, these dogs just started killing each other. There was something off about that, so that relocation didn't go very well, but the next one went very well. I was part of a relocation in Namibia that went very well, and I was working in a national park when they did a large relocation there that went really, really well. So there's a lot of people trying to help these numbers rehabilitate and get back to where we need them to be. It's absolutely fascinating. So while we're busy waiting for them to move so that we can see some action, let's head back to James, who I believe has an antelope species that these wild dogs might like to eat.
Yes, they probably would like to eat them, and they may actually come down here later on today if they don't go north towards Sydney's dam. I think that probably would be what they do. Anyway, here we have some impala. Most of you will know that, of course. And they're sort of filled with the joys of a delightful early summer evening. It's not so early in summer anymore. Delightful summer evening, and they've been having a little bit of a frolic there. You can see 2 of them still having a bit of a frolic, a bit of a play fight. There we go. Lovely sound of the crested barbet calling above our heads. A couple of brown-headed parrots going bzz, bzz. Oh, Mia, you say, what is the difference between these impala and the ones in the Mara? Well, the difference is that these ones are better. That's the only difference. These ones are much better than the Mara impala by virtue of the fact that they're here. No, the real difference physically is that these ones are slightly smaller, and their horns are substantially smaller. So you'll probably find that they've been classified as a different subspecies. I'm just checking that. Well, in fact not, actually. They've been given the same species classification. That's interesting. So they're the same species. There is a subspecies of impala that lives in Namibia called the black-faced impala. But this common variety we have here is just, well, I guess, years of geographical separation has meant that they have got bigger for some reason there in the Mara. Why they shouldn't have been classified slightly differently, I'm not sure. But essentially they're the same thing. They look almost identical, but for the size. And of course there are far more of them here because of the provision of artificial water, and probably because there are more trees as well. So a mixed feeder, like the impala, is able, of course, to feed all the time. Now, Sinak, you're wondering about the nyala, which you've called a kudu, quite understandably so, because it is very closely related to a kudu. It is a nyala, same genus as the kudu. He's got an itchy head and just wants to sort of put his territory there, which brings me neatly around to why it is that he has got that white mantle on the back of his back, or on the back of his back, where else would it be? And it's like that, of course, because they use it for display. So when he's about to have a bit of a fight with another male, they stick that white mantle up, a little bit like the hackles on a dog, for example, and that ridge comes up, and it looks all rather impressive, and they dance around each other like sort of warring Tai Chi masters, if you like. But after a while, if the Tai Chi threats don't sort of result in one of them giving way, well, then they will start to have a very big duel with those fairly vicious horns. I don't think he's only scratching himself. I think he's marking a territory. Very small territory they'll have. He'll be using glands on his feet there. You saw him scraping. And possibly glands somewhere on his face somewhere. I'm not sure if they have them there, though. There he goes. Trying to see if I can tell where their glands are. Yeah, I think he's definitely got glands on his feet there. I'm sure that's what he's doing, marking. You might just be able to hear the impala mothers now starting to call their youngsters. No. Yes, that's not the impala calling their youngsters, that is the joyful sound of children, somewhere near the Voyatera camp, obviously. Very peaceful indeed. Right, no chance of, no sign of Tingana, obviously, at this stage, so I think we'll carry on around the corner here, see if we can pick something of use up. Shall we move on, Fergus? Are you satisfied? Okay. Marvellous news. Ooh. It's close. How close to the edge am I? I'll be right, will I? Phew. That wouldn't have been fun, would it? Desperately unfun. Alrighty, now I believe that the Mara has been rained out, and so we welcome back into the directing chair here at Djuma Louise Pavid, who has just returned from a leave. Welcome back, Louise. Yes, there we are. She says, I still haven't given her a hug yet. Well, I doesn't want to dispense with affection too much. You know, people start to take chances with you. You know, they take liberties if you be too friendly with them. Now, one of the most difficult things to get on camera is a red-chested cuckoo. And there is one calling in the drainage line here, and I wonder if we can't get it on camera for especially Jared in our technical team, who spent the last 11 days searching the Kruger National Park for one, and heard it ubiquitously but failed to see it. There's a dove on the top of that tree. That's not it. They are not easy to see, but they make such a lovely summer sound. It's coming closer. Ooh. Oh, that's special. Can you see on this close thorn bush here, Ferg, just above the little silver cluster leaf on the dead thorn bush? That's a lesser grey shrike, everyone. That is very special. They are relatively common down on the Gabbro plains of the southern Sabi, but they're not common here. Let me just load him up in my application. Shrike. Just find him, lesser grey shrike, and less. Yeah, that's him. That's him. A lesser grey shrike. Let's see if we can play his call. Oh, no, let's not play his call. Let's go across to the dogs, who are now saying hello to each other.
We have them moving and greeting each other. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a little bit quiet at the moment, but let's just listen. They haven't quite started doing their whining yet. I have a feeling they're going to move over to the other part of the pack. If they do, don't worry, we'll move. But how incredible. Remember, we talk a lot about dominance and submissive behavior. You're seeing a lot of that here. You're also seeing them having a nice big poo. Smelly poo, wild dog poo is the worst. I'm amazed at how quiet they're being. Now that to me signals that they're at the edge of their territory. That's very interesting, because earlier I said they like this spot, they're comfortable in this spot, but as quiet as they're being is now showing me that possibly maybe they're even over their edge. Let me just move the car around very quickly so that we can catch them on the other side with the rest of the pack. super exciting. Oh, we have want to pay off here. I'm just going to stop here. Can we hear them? Absolutely fantastic. Notice the excitement in the tails. All right, now it gets tricky. Now following them gets very tricky. Okay. Looks like most of the pack has moved a little bit more this way, and they're going to zigzag. But it's fabulous. All right, let's go, everybody, let's go. The wild dogs. Vildy, careful of the branches, my darling. Okay. So from 0 to 60 in half a second. Guys, I'm so sorry. I'm going to be just busy driving through these bushes a little bit, so excuse the back of my head. Also don't want to knock Vildy off the car. There we go. Thanks, Vildy. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Alright, so half the pack stopped here a little bit. We can watch them. So this is going to be interesting driving for me and very interesting camera work for Vildy. So just bear with us. Now, amazingly, they've done something that other predators do, which is they get very, very active. And now they're tired again. Some of them are lying down. The rest of the pack was moving in the background there. And still going at it a little bit up and down. These ones here, oh, shame, that one has worms. They do get worms, similar to your dogs at home. All right, let me maneuver a little bit because I can just see the rest of the pack moving about in the background. H. Macy, you're saying I love a good wild dog chase. H. Macy, me too, my friend. Yeah, we can see them just a little bit through there, having a bit of a romp around. Okay, so remember earlier I said my wish was they must get moving, they must go down Mvula access, and then they must go to quarantine. They're looking like they're going in that direction, but now their normal place where they are is west of us, over our western boundary. Shame you also have worms, unfortunately. But what's amazing about this as well, especially with this light that we're having, is you can actually see these colors on and the patterns on these coats like we've been talking about for the past little while. The light's very good for it. All right, so screenshots, guys, that when the ears are forward and they're doing things like that, like biting flies, that's what I would definitely take a screenshot of. We'll put that in our catalog of amazing things we've seen. More grooming of each other there. It's called allo grooming. Benedicta, very interesting question. You're curious to know if I can tell who the alpha is. So earlier we were chatting about how I haven't actually spent much time with this pack, so I'm unaware who the alphas are. But there was one male who kept sitting up and looking at us and who looked in very good condition. And I was saying to VM that if I had to pick an alpha, the alpha male, that would have been him. Now, because I don't know them well enough and I don't know their coat patterns well enough off the top of my head, I can't now tell you which one he is. I'm just going to have to wait and see. Also, I might have to get a hold of some of the guys that are working farther west from us and see if they can give me a few updates and a few tips on the alpha female, alpha male with regarding photos. And then the next time I see them, it'll be easier for me to be able to tell you exactly who's who in the zoo. Well, we're not actually in a zoo, but that's the catchphrase, as it were. Okay, so our excitement has now died down, but that's okay. Once they start moving, they're gonna keep doing it. So they've moved, they've greeted, they're excited, and now they're just going to rest a little bit more, and then they're definitely going to start moving. I am not going anywhere. We are going to definitely stay with them. Sorry, Lou. Oh, and welcome back, Lou, from Leave. So happy to hear you in my ear. Lou, I heard that Monique had a question, but I didn't hear the full one. Oh, Monique, you're curious if the dogs with worms will be able to get rid of them. So that's a very good question, Monique. I don't know if there's anything in nature that they naturally would eat to help assist with the worms. I can ask some friends and see if they know. Some of my friends that are still doing research with wild dogs. But as far as I know, once they have the worms, they have the worms. But that's just off the top of my head. So, Monique, we don't interfere. We're not going to give them worm medication. They're wild animals and must take care of themselves, and we're lucky enough to be able to watch them in their natural environments. One of the things that is so amazing about being able to do this. So in that respect, no, we can't help them that way. But then I don't know, there might be sometimes when their belly is hurt, they will eat grass. Very similar. Lions do the same thing. Leopards do the same thing when they've got indigestion. Similar to your domesticated dog or even your domesticated cat. So I wonder if maybe that will help purge slightly. But yeah, again, as I said, as far as I know, the worms are there. Joy, you're curious if aloe grooming is similar to hello grooming? Am I pronouncing what you're asking there correctly? Oh, sorry. Well, Lou, you could warn me. Yeah, sorry. I didn't pick up on that. I'm too serious right now. I'm too excited. My ability to pick up on the joke was not good. Sorry, Lou. I'm sorry. Sorry, Joy. I'm extremely gullible, by the way. So the person where you said gullible is written on the ceiling, I would be the person that would look up. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, go back to the dogs, Billy. Shame. Dogs, you gave us so much excitement, and now you're being very boring. Richly, you're curious if the alpha will always lead the chase. So sometimes the alpha male will lead the chase, sometimes the alpha female will lead the chase, and sometimes it will be one of the other ones. It depends on who has the best advantage and who has the best chance of getting what they're after. Okay, so now this is the ADD behavior we were talking about before. Rocky, you're curious to know if there's an individual in this pack with a collar on. Rocky, all the individuals that I've seen here today, and I think we've counted 12 in total, no collar. As far as I know, this pack and some of the other packs that we work with in this area are uncollared. In general, it is very good to not interfere with animals in that way, with collaring or with microchipping or anything like that. They can sometimes die when you have to interfere like that. When it's a good thing for something like wild dog research to have a collar is when you have areas that people do not frequent very much, or you can't get a vehicle in, and then it would be a GPS collar, and then the data will go up to a satellite and then come into your computer. But this pack, no. And look, I mean, there's enough game drive vehicles out, and their territory is in a well-traversed game drive areas. There would really be no need to collar them. Okay, now we have most of the individuals in this pack are heads up and then down, heads up and then down, and then rolling around. This is the normal type of dog behavior that you're going to see, that constant movement. So the heat of the day earlier in their full bellies gave them a coma state. I also just think that this pack is probably just the laziest pack I've seen in general, or they're just extremely comfortable within their pack dynamic. That's also a possibility as well. There's a screenshot for you guys. beautiful. Notice how dark the eyes are. From a photographer's side of things, that dark eye makes it very difficult to photograph. To get the best photographs, you almost have to be lying down on your belly. One of the best places to go and do that is in Mana pools, where much of the activities are walking based, and much of my friends that do photographic groups up there do a lot on foot and get these amazing shots of wild dogs from low angles and get those beautiful sparkling eyes in them. I have yet to be up to Mana pools. It is very, very, very high on my list. Very high. It's also a place where you tend to see a lot of elephants standing on their legs with their forelimbs hanging and reaching high up into trees. I've seen it on other places as well, but a lot of my friends that head up that side get this amazing images from that. So sorry, we've got another game drive vehicle that's coming behind us. The wild dogs on the move and getting active like this is definitely a draw for everybody. I know you guys are all super excited, so they're also super excited as well. Oh, shame. Also a little bit of rubbing and itching there. Okay, so now we've got a few that have been sort of on the outskirts moving around. We've got this one that's having an absolute blast rubbing in the grass there. They also get ticks and parasites very similar to lion and to leopard. I also get tick bites when I do bushwalks as well. And so this movement is then going to galvanize the rest of them to also have movements. There, we've got a little loo break for that one. And we'll excite them. They're very good at revving each other up and not just copycatting or imitating each other, but it's the excitement. They're probably the happiest species you will see out here. They're always excited. They're always positive. I would equate a wild dog to your friend who, no matter what, without having caffeine and without doing any sort of exercise, is just, oh my goodness, and today is wonderful and how amazing everything is. That friend that you have, that's what a wild dog is in the bush. Ooh, Lena, you're asking what my favorite wild dog experience is. Oh my goodness, Lena, I have so many. We talked about those little pups that I was able to see earlier. We've talked about how the impala that was caught on the side of the vehicle, when the impala jumped right over the bonnet of my vehicle. We talked about me seeing a wild dog kill on foot. Oh my goodness. It's going to take me a moment to think about that. I'd also be curious to know what James's favorite wild dog moment is as well. James has been guiding longer than I have, and I'm sure he's had some amazing experiences. I would be keen to know. I'm trying to think what else. I don't know. Oh my goodness, I'm drawing a complete blank now. Now I'm racking my brain. Actually, now that I'm saying that out loud, about 5 or 6 years ago when I was working up in Zambia, again, I was driving the owner of the camp that I was working at. I was driving his mom, and at that point, they hadn't seen wild dog very often since sort of 1998, 1999, maybe even earlier than that. And we were just on the Bumble, a little Bumble, just the two of us along one of the edges of the river there, the South Luangwa River. And across the river, I see this movement. I said to her, I swear that's wild dog. And she's like, no, we never see wild dog here. I was like, I swear. And they swam across the shallow river and then onto our side and then started chasing puku around. And puku is a type of antelope species that occurs up there. And that was a really good sighting. And because she also hadn't seen them since, the kids were small and for a very long time, that was very special. I enjoyed that. And I enjoyed that because for her, she hadn't seen them for so long. And then also, of course, the chase was just incredible. All right, well, I was really convinced that they were going to get moving again, but it looks like they're going to rest a little bit more before they do that. So let's head over to James so long while we wait and see what they do.
Well, we are right at the other end of the reserve now. We're on the eastern boundary, searching, of course, for anything, really. We found a nice view there. The sun, you can see, just begun its inexorable sort of migration down towards the west. But it won't be quite dark by the time we sign off today. And that, of course, it is because it is summer. Now, Lena, you were asking a question about favourite wild dog sightings. I think mine, unquestionably, was on foot here. When was it? It must have been 2 years ago now. On foot with Andrew. And we were trying to help out finding them. And what we did was we sat down on the road as they were coming down the main road towards us. And we just waited very patiently. And slowly they came towards us, and there was a vehicle behind them. It was Scott driving at the time. He came towards us, and I think for the viewer it must have been quite interesting, because we couldn't get any picture out of our bushwalk camera, and so all you saw was the two of us sitting on the side of the road and these dogs now coming straight towards us. The adults hardly blinked. They kind of looked at us and carried on going. But then 3 or 4 youngsters at the back stopped, and they looked at us. And one of them went round the back of us and sort of sniffed about. And the others stopped and looked on the road. And it was just a tremendous privilege to be that close to a wild animal. And as I often say, or as I've started to say quite frequently, because I've thought about it a bit more now, being that close to something so wild, something so completely untamed, cracks something open in our shells that have separated us from the wilderness, and it creates a fissure that gives us a rare connection to the earth and to the wild, to something deep within us that's very old. And that's why I really enjoy those sorts of experiences with animals on foot, especially predators, leopard and dogs predominantly. Sure why my audio's dipped. How's it for you, Fergus? Is it fine? No, it's fine this side, I'm afraid, Louise. We're going to go up onto the cheetah cut line now. I'm not expecting to find any cheetah there. Very unusual to find cheetah on the cheetah cut line. I've seen them once here. Head down towards the Sahara. Oh. Herbert is out on foot trying to find Tingana and trying to find Tandi and anything else that he can. So if it is around, we will find it. I've decided, by the way, that I'm going to give up on my hat today. Many of you will not find that interesting, but it is just very irritating to wear. Benedict whom? Venediktov. You are interested in where I would go on the ultimate safari. Well, do you mean let's use the whole world, shall we? On the ultimate safari, and we'll use, instead of safari just meaning journey, we'll use it as a term meaning wildlife experience, okay? So I would probably firstly try and go off to see some jaguars in South America, either in the Pantanal or ideally up in the rainforests of Peru. I think that would be enormously enjoyable. So that would be one place I would go. I would love to go and spend some time with chimpanzees and gorillas in, well, I think the less war-torn parts of Central Africa. So perhaps up in Rwanda, where I haven't been before. Perhaps in the Brazzaville Congo, as opposed to the democratic version thereof. What was that about the audio? You missed that as well. Oh, it's windy. Yes, well, it won't be windy tomorrow. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to dispense with this hat. And what else can I tell you? Where else would I like to go on safari? Those are the two main things I think I'd like to do. The Mara was always a big dream, and it has been so very special to spend time there. I wouldn't mind doing a whole sort of trip through the Serengeti, I still need to go to the great Zambian parks. That would be wonderful too. The Okavango I've been to, I found it very inspiring, but not as inspiring as many people do. And I'm not sure why. I think it's because it's too bit flat for me. I quite like a bit of elevation, mountains, and places where I can sit and see for miles. Yeah, so I guess those would be some safaris. Then I would love to do a desert safari in the Sahara, particularly on horseback. That would be wonderful. Now, I've been asked to do this particular link at least 5 times now. I hope this time it will be truthful. Let's go back to Noel, because the dogs are waking up.
They are waking up a little bit, James, but we've jinxed ourselves because this one's going to lie down again. All of that excitement, all of that build-up, that beautiful greeting and the movement, and then they've just found a nice little spot to curl up again. So my guesstimate is going to be within the next 10 minutes, they're really going to start moving. Because again, their twitching is getting pretty hectic and their movement is occurring more and more now. Ears constantly alert, constantly listening. And I also don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to stay in the sighting, unfortunately, because as it gets, we're not allowed to view them at night, we're not allowed to put a torch on them, and we don't follow them in the dark. We've been lucky thus far. We've been able to stay in the sighting, and the other vehicles have rotated through with their guests. So I'm going to do the best that I can to stay with them as long as I possibly can, but our time might end up being cut, well, I wouldn't say short. We've been with them for quite a while, but we might have to hand over to somebody else shortly, just to let you all know. So I'm hoping before that happens that they play nice, get up, move, run down the road. I'm still really hoping for a kill. I haven't seen a kill in 2 months now, so I'm having a bit of withdrawal. Predator interaction between predators is one of my ultimate things to view and to speak about, and then my other is predator-prey interaction. Whether they actually manage to make the kill or don't, just the whole process behind it is absolutely fantastic and breathtaking for me in particular. I get not just a thrill out of it, but I just enjoy watching how the predator thinks and how the prey thinks and the reactions to each other. Thad, you're asking if only the alpha pair of the wild dogs reproduce. And that is true, Thad. For any of the guys that were watching a little bit earlier with us, we briefly touched on it. And then, yeah, so they're the only ones that will mate and reproduce, but if for some reason the alpha female cannot have pups, maybe sometimes she's sterile, or in some populations, specifically within South Africa, the wild dogs are on contraceptives to control the numbers. And one of the packs that I worked with, that was happening, because if you have too many wild dogs in an area, they take out the prey species to a point where the ecosystem can't function properly. You really have to monitor wild dogs in closed ecosystems. And one of the packs that I was familiar with from game drives, all of a sudden they had pups, and it was the beta female who gave birth, and it's because the alpha was unable to because she was on contraceptives. So also natural systems occur where sometimes a predator cannot get pregnant, and with wild dogs, then the beta female would be the one that would have little ones. Bumbo Girl, you're curious to know what the average number of pups is in a litter. They can have up to 22 or 23. I think that's the most that's been recorded. The average litter size that I have seen is 12, with about 9 to 10 surviving. But again, that is all dependent upon food resources and size of the pack and genetics as well. Sorry, I keep going quiet every now and then. So you all have heard me mention before, I've got this little monitor that's in front so I can see what Vildi is focusing on. And every now and then I just get so enthralled with how close the camera can get that I'm actually staring like you all are staring at your screens. I'm staring at it and watching the wild dogs. And I don't own a television, so whenever there's something like that in the room, if you don't own a TV, you sort of get sucked in, and I keep getting sucked into these amazing visuals and just at how crisp and clear they are and how much detail is there. It's absolutely fantastic. Also, just noticing as well with this pack, usually within packs you can see that there's some that's sort of a strain, so there will be more black or more tawny or more white within the pattern coloration. With this pack in particular, I'm noticing that they all have quite a mixed variety. The couple have a slight bit more white and a couple a little bit tawny, but there's no definitive sort of color over the other ones. One of the packs that I used to work with, there was a gene that came in and a lot of them were very, very, very dark. They had a lot of black on them. And then another pack that I worked with had quite a lot of white on them. This pack is very mixed. Is there standby one? Sorry. Lynn, you're curious to know if there's instances where domesticated dogs and African wild dogs have interbred. Lynn, domesticated dogs and African wild dogs are not related at all. There is no, so their genus and species is different. So the African painted wolf or African wild dog is a Lycianus pictus, if I'm remembering correctly, and then a domesticated dog, I think, is Canis canis. I know a wolf is Lupus lupus. So Lupus lupus, Canis canis, and Lycianus pictus, because the genus, which is the first word in those names I gave, and then the species is the second. Because the genus is all a different word, a different name, they cannot interbreed. So the same as with black rhino and white rhino. Black rhino is Diceros bicornis, and a white rhino, is Serothenum sinum. Different species, they can't, different genuses, they cannot interbreed. So the connection between the African wild dog and a domesticated dog is very abstract. It's not a direct connection. So 3 million years ago, there was a species, and off that species branched African painted wolf, African wild dog, and wolves. And then millions of years later, domesticated dogs branched off of wolves. So long story short, no, there's been no scenario of that. Alright, James has an amazing raptor with a kill, so let's head on over to him and have a look.
It has killed indeed, and I must apologise for lying to you yet again about those dogs. They didn't get up and do very much at all, did they? Now what we have here is a fish eagly, and it has caught, unsurprisingly, a fish. It looks like a catfish from here. And I think that's a monstrously large piece of meat for that bird to have caught. And I suspect that he wasn't able to take it up into a tree. Let's go down a little bit closer and see if we can't get a slightly better view. Are you ready, Fergus? If he does fly off, he will come back to it. So don't worry about that. So if he does fly off, what I'll do is I'll just back off. And we'll go somewhere else and see what's going on. Because I don't want him to fly off, I want to watch him having his supper. I think we'll stop here. There we go. Sorry. It's my fault, that jerkiness. There we go. So we'll try another sneak closer as well. As I can see the whiskers to the left there, you can see the whiskers of the catfish. Guinea fowl calling there. That is amazing. I mean, that is a big fish. Huh. Now, Sinak, you're wondering about the diet of the fish eagle and whether or not they eat carrion. They absolutely do eat carrion. But what I will do is just go into the app that is so very good, and what I'll do is just give you a comprehensive list of what they have been seen eating. They'll eat small mammals as well. You know, they'll catch small mammals. They'll probably eat termites. But here we go with a full list. Here we go. Fish, obviously. 2 to 3 kilograms are planed across the water surface. Greater than 3 kilos are dragged onto the shore using wings as paddles. So that's interesting. I think this is probably about, I'm guessing, a 2 to 3 kilogram fish. Routinely kills fish up to 3 kilograms in Zululand. Then, what else do they eat? Oh, I mean, they'll kill flamingos from time to time, believe it or not. We don't get them here. So, they other eat young birds, including red-knobbed coot, reed cormorant, African darter, grebes, and ducks, including white-faced whistling duck, white-backed duck, red-billed teal, and knob-billed duck. And wilderness lakes in the Western Cape, they hovered over tightly huddled groups of coots for up to 7 minutes before grabbing one. Other avian prey included helmeted guinea fowl and red-billed quelea at colonies. Well, there are some helmeted guinea fowl going past, but they'll be safe today. Then they've eaten egrets, African darter, herons, ibises, spoonbills, skimmer, reptile prey like monitor lizards, Nile crocodile hatchlings, terrapins, mammal prey including hyraxes, monkeys, flay rats, and occasionally small children. The last bit is a lie. They don't really eat small children. But they will eat the hatchlings of what you can see over there. They've killed Goliath herons, saddle-billed storks, pied kingfishers, western ospreys. No, this is who they've stolen from. They steal fish from Goliath herons, saddle-billed storks, pied kingfishers, and sometimes the ospreys are able to avoid piracy, it says here. They steal ducklings from African marsh harriers when they're caught, and snakes from martial eagle and bateleur. So, they have what is termed a Catholic diet and strategy for getting their food, not above piracy. There are very few animals out here that are above piracy, and one of them, of course, is the wild dogs. They do very little scavenging and much more hunting themselves. Shall we try one last closer approach, Ferg? Yeah. Are you ready? Hold on tight. Oh, the dogs, yet again, are on the move. Goodness, they've gone far today.
Hi guys, hi. They are on the move. I do have to correct myself though. I misremembered my scientific names for wolves and for dogs. Vildi heard something and was like, nope, I don't think that's quite correct. And then we went and we triple checked. So a domesticated dog is Canis lupus familiaris and a wolf is Canis lupus lupus. So technically dogs and wolves have the same genus, and so they can interbreed. So I just wanted to correct on that. So sorry for my misremembrance of that particular information. Oh, beautiful, and look at the beautiful light. All right, please take some screenshots for me and send them to me. I do not have access to my camera at the moment, and I'm absolutely dying. They're going to come right into the road. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. And they're going to run straight down Vuyatela Access, I'm telling you now, and they're going to go to quarantine. If you think things enough, it will happen. This is going to happen. I'm too excited. Way too excited. Here they come out into the road. No, don't go that way. Go straight, man. Go straight. Go straight. They're listening slightly. Slightly. I'm way too excited. Way. Oh, look at that beautiful light. Absolutely stunning. The whole pack's going to come out into the road just now. They're slowly going to file through. Here we go. stunning. And behind us, Vildi is having so many good shots. I think it's hard to pick which one will be best. I think I like the one in front here. Duck down so you guys can see as they file across. Okay, so it doesn't look like they're going to go straight down Vuyatela axis like I was hoping. But you can see them beautifully out in the open. Big, big ears, long, long legs, beautifully colored bodies. Ooh, maybe they will. So remember I said they've got ADD, so trying to direct where they're going is difficult. It's not the same as a lion or a leopard or a cheetah who tend to walk straight. Wild dogs have their own made-up mind. They are, however, easier to track and to follow than hyenas. Spotted hyenas are near impossible to do that. So they found something really interesting to smell. There in the grass, and then of course smelling each other. Doing a little bit of grooming of some very intimate parts. Okay, now they're choosing to head more south and west as opposed to east like we were hoping. Some of the pack is still busy licking and grooming each other. I'm going to go with the front end of the pack and follow them through. So I'm just going to loop a little bit because the movement is what we want, the hunt is what we want, the chase is what we want. And remember we were talking about these open areas are so good for things like impala and wildebeest and other prey species. You can hear I'm absolutely, completely crazy in my excitement, so I'm actually having trouble finding words because the anticipation of what I know could possibly happen is too much. It's absolutely too much. So please excuse all the bumping and diving and meandering, and Vildi, if I hit you with a branch, I'm so sorry. Okay, they were just over here to the side. I don't want to lose the front of them. Let's come through here. There they are. Monique, you're saying each dog is like a work of art. Monique, definitely, they are like a work of art. Monique, if you really like art, just thinking, there's an amazing South African artist named his name's Mel Elliott. He does this work, so he comes out into the bush and he takes photographs and then he goes home and he paints them. And he's, my very good friend has guided him before. He's absolutely incredible and he loves wild dogs. He's got some of the most amazing wild dog artwork I've ever seen. So you can maybe Google him, look him up. It's absolutely breathtaking work. There's another woman who also does some good work, and I can't actually think of her name at the moment. It'll come to me. Okay, they should be just in here. There we go. They're going to come out right here in front of us. Fantastic. Wunderbar. Oh, I'm just absolutely over the moon right now. That's something I love about the Lowveld, especially the part of the Lowveld that we're in right now, is it looks a bit thick, but where we are, it's going to have enough space for us in particular with the small size vehicle we have to meander and really follow the best that we possibly can. The whole pack is going to come running right past us. Oh, stunning. If this one's, oh no, he's not going to do it. If we can get another one to sort of stop in that general area and then look up with their eyes, you can see that beautiful amber color. There's just a teeny bit of sunlight that's poking through. And they're stopping and smelling and listening. The wind is pushing from behind us, so any scent of any prey species that's ahead of them, the scent is going to go right towards them. With sounds as well. Remember we talked about their ears, their big, big ears, and their ability to listen really well. Oh, here they come. I have goosebumps, people. I have goosebumps. Oh my goodness. Can we hear them a little bit? Just the grass rustling. that's all you can hear when these predators are moving. It's just that little bit of grass. Other than that, they're completely silent. And we talked about earlier, their initial greeting was very quiet. Then the second greeting we got, they had a little bit of excitement, but it wasn't as loud as it usually is. And I definitely think we're going to see some sort of action here tonight. All right, so I'm going to loop around again. We're going to do our best to keep visual of them. It's going to take a bit of work, a bit of skill, a bit of luck. All right, sorry, I just need to let the game drive guys know. Station's just an update with these Mvula. Station's just an update with these Mvula. They are mobile south away from Sandy Patch in the block. I'm doing my best to keep with them. We're gonna pop up under power lines in about 30 seconds and then head over towards Impala Plains. I'll keep you updated as best as I can. All right. Sorry, little trees. Got our road coming up. Now, what I don't want them to do is I don't want them to go into the drainage line because I won't be able to follow them through there. And I also would like for them to stay sort of going south and a little bit east because it means we'll be able to stay with them longer. If they go too far west, we will not be able to follow them because that will be our border. Here we go. Here they go, straight down the road. Gremlins General, you're curious if wild dogs bark like domesticated dogs. They don't, they whoop. They go hoo, hoo, hoo. And they make that greeting call we heard earlier. I'm very bad at imitating. It's not a giggle, it's more like a high-pitched whine, but no, they don't bark. Oh my goodness. Okay, now you see they're moving quicker. That's not because of us. They've seen something or something's happening, something's getting them excited. It could be the ones in front. It could be something that they smell. We will really just have to wait and see. All right, now we've got a vehicle that's just ahead of us who's busy doing some photography. I'm not going to follow through there. What I am going to do is I'm going to go through here because I don't want to ruin their shot. Those guys are looping ahead of us to be able to get similar scenarios that we're getting as well. And they've got some amazing camera equipment, so I really don't want to disturb them in any way. And we also have our tiny little car here, so I can meander in places that they cannot. Like I'm doing right now. Sorry. Now we're coming up to a place, ability hold on, that has usually good prey activity. There's a big knob thorn here. Sorry, gory tree. Alright, don't worry guys.
Hello everybody, I believe we're live. I'm just trying to find out, apparently leopard's been found. Bernie, sorry, can you go with the location of that animal? And I don't think it's far from where we are. It's quite far from here, but we might be lucky. Back there. Alright, I think we're back with the dogs.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry guys, we lost signal there, but we just got up and they've made a kill. It looks like they've killed a baby impala. This is so exciting. They've ripped it apart already within mere seconds. We were just busy going over our trees, and then here we are, and I can tell that it was a baby impala because it's pretty much gone. You can just see around their faces, there's a little bit of red in there. Oh, how absolutely incredibly exciting. This is just too much. Too much. We knew they were going to do it. We knew they were going to come to an area. We knew they were going to make a kill. And we've got the tail end to show you. So now they're just busy getting the little bits of scraps. There they run. So this is just, this one you can see in front with all of the ooh, there's a leopard chasing them. There's a leopard chasing them. Oh my goodness, you guys see? There's a leopard, there's a huge male leopard that's chasing them. Did you all see that? How absolutely incredible. Go, go, go. This is just insane. Absolutely insane. This is probably one of the most amazing things you guys will see. I've never, watch what's going to happen here. This is absolutely incredible. I'm just going to come around the corner. So the dogs got chased by that leopard. The leopard's now moving off, but now the dogs are going completely nutty. Here's the big male leopard. It looks like Tingana. The dogs are now going to circle back around. They're going to go back towards this male leopard. Here they come, here they come. I'm going to back up because we're going to get this male leopard coming past us, and we're going to get those dogs coming through again. Just stay with me, guys. Stay with me. Stay with me. This is absolutely out of this world. So now this male leopard is moving just here, just us. I'm just giving us a bit of a gap here. I think the dogs were definitely taken off of, what's my word? Guys, I can't even find my word. The dogs were taken by surprise completely by this male. And we talked about this earlier where dogs chase males up. And Vildi was actually saying how amazing it would be if Tingana came and chased them off. I think the only reason that this male came and chased them the way that he did is because of that kill. Because you can see where he's smelling is exactly where they had killed that young impala. And the dogs are not far from here. I'm really surprised they haven't regrouped and come back. But oh, here they come, here they come, here they come. They're coming. Listen to the noises. Watch. There runs the leopard. The leopard now, because the dogs have regrouped, the leopard is moving off. The dogs are busy making these grunting noises. I'm not going to move from where we are because those dogs are going to come past us just now. They're moving just in front of those vehicles there. That leopard's going, oh, and you've got a picture of the kill, what's left of that baby impala. Oh my goodness. Okay, so if we were ever to record anything and play back anything from Safari Live, this would be it. Oh, the leopard's gone up a tree. This is too good. This is way too good. I've got two other vehicles with me in this sighting. I mean, these guests are just having a blast. Check these dogs here. Check the tails. Look how excited they are. Now they're going to look to see where did that leopard go? Smelling. Oh, look in the beautiful sunlight reflecting off the back. A little bit of a backlight in there. Listen. They're searching for this leopard. They're searching for him. They're making little grunty noises. They're all coming together. They're banding together. Oh, this is too good. They've seen the leopard in the tree. They've seen him in the tree. There he is. Check. Yes. Oh my goodness, guys. Oh my goodness. Now listen. Vildi, am I too close? Do you want me to back up? How insane! How absolutely insane! Oh, well worth the wait, everybody. Well worth the wait. I'm pretty sure this is Tingana, but guys, we just had a nice view there. You must triple check for me. Poor Tingana. You think, sorry? Mvula. Oh, sorry. Vildi saying Mvula. Oh, with the big stocky legs. Hey, Vildi. Now, interesting, if this is Mvula, Mvula is older than Tingana as far as I know and has a lot more experience with scenarios like this. I would assume, just because of age. He's going to lie down and watch these dogs now. This is just incredible. And we were talking about dogs chasing leopards and interactions between predators and kills, and we got it all. We got it all in one sighting. Everybody, I can't even begin to describe to you how insane this is. Well, you're watching. Of course I can describe it to you. You're all watching with me. I keep forgetting because you're not on the car with me and you're at home, and I'm looking around and I'm staring at Vildi and I'm like, oh my goodness gracious. And I mean, I can't. I don't have words, guys. All right, let's listen to this dog. Guys, I'm so sorry. We're gonna have to leave. There's too many game drive vehicles who want to go. I'm gonna have to extract myself, but how incredible. This was so incredible. I can't even begin to describe. All right. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys. Just give me a couple of minutes. I'm gonna let Vildi keep watching the dogs with you all, and I'm gonna call us out. Stations, I'm leaving the lock. There's Mashloa and one Modora Ingwe here, the northeastern side of Impala Plains. Visual on Mashloa and Modora Ingwe is 5-5. Leaving Taxon on lock and in charge, one other station with him in the lock. Affirmative, yeah, just speak with Tax. Let him take you in. I'm just still busy on air, but yeah, come. There's visual of everything. They bombard Manyani, Ma Pimpan Mala. Still busy with that. There's lots going on. Enjoy. Oh my goodness, everybody. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm sorry. So I've got a very dear friend who works in the Timbavati, which is not far from us. And we routinely call each other and talk about sightings we have. And a lot of the time he calls and says, oh, I saw this today, I saw that today. And I'm like, yeah. I am itching to take a call. I'm going to send him the link from the show tonight with a big sort of crazy little emoji with a smiley face and a tongue sticking out. I mean, I can't even deal. I can't even deal. How insane. I want to know what you all think. Tell me what you think. Paula being killed, wild dog chasing lizard. So incredible. Hi everyone, hello. Other guys are coming in, they want to see, of course, because that is absolutely, I don't have words. There are no words. It's so nice when we talk about things and experiences and sightings, and then it actually happens. It doesn't happen often. I mean, you all would know. You watch the show. A lot of you watch the show every day. And we tell you stories. All of the presenters tell you stories about things we've seen or things we hope to see. And we had all of it come together in one fell swoop. Oh, I think I'm going to lose my voice from utter excitement and from talking too much. I can't even deal. So I'm very lucky to do what I do and be able to do this every day. But that sighting right there, this high that I'm on right now will last a very, very long time. So we have to thank Murphy for providing us with that. Absolutely crazy. Cats in Tampa, you're saying what an epic sighting. It was absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I totally agree. Hashtag epic. Hashtag Safari Live. Hashtag oh my goodness gracious. I can't. Vildi's face is like, yeah. Deb straight. Too good. Okay, guys, do we have any questions about what happened? I know that I was blabbering away like a crazy person, and then we were also trying to listen. So if there's any questions you have about any of the movements or the actions or the way the tail was going, please send them through. It's also very cool because we can go back and we can look at the footage again. Lisa, you're curious to know if the wild dogs would be able to get the leopard easily. Lisa, I've never seen dogs actually kill a leopard. I've just seen that chase that you saw now. The leopards are quite agile, and also, I mean, if a leopard turns around and gets their claws stuck in one of those dogs, that dog is done. So that sort of hounding and mobbing and chasing it up, and then they'll keep it up that tree until they're finished with those little baby impala legs, and then even then they might still chase it about, and then I'll just like this turn on tail and move off and carry on. Insane. Absolutely insane. I can't deal. I need some apple juice to calm down. Oh my goodness. Later. We can all cheers with our apple juice later. Okay, well, with a sobering moment, there's a really beautiful sunset that's happening. If anyone is keen for it, we can do a little bit of that while we all catch our breaths. Whew. Now, what's interesting. Oh, Joy, you're curious if this is better than the lioness eating the tortoise. Yeah. So the sighting we had yesterday with Inkahumas with that sub-adult eating that tortoise was very, very cool, especially because I'd never seen them actually be able to get into the shell. So that was amazing. But this, I mean, look at the action and look at how you all feel right now with that action that was going on. And I mean, Vildi was doing such an amazing job with keeping everything going and moving. And I just, whew. We can't even enjoy our sunset moment because we're all just, I am at least too hyperactive at the moment. Maybe, okay, Vildi, maybe we'll breathe for 1 minute and I will give everyone a moment of silence to collect their thoughts with the beautiful sunset, shall we? Thank you, Sheila. You're saying my excitement made the sighting all the more wonderful. I'm glad that you took it as that and not that I'm a crazy person. It's too exciting. Again, I mean, I've seen things like this, but sitting there and then starting to talk about that kill, and literally as that leopard was running out, Lou was in my ear going, she can hear that there's, from the game drive vehicles, that there's a leopard coming, and then the whole thing unfolded. And I was also laughing a little bit to myself just now because when the dogs got up and started moving, Lou said to me, from FC, she goes, do you think they're going to lie down again and they're going to do it? And I said, listen, Lou, I'm not quite sure. Let's just wait and see. And I mean, we stayed with and we worked it. And yes, we were rewarded. This is almost as good as Taylor's gerbils, I have to say. It's completely different. But the excitement and hilarity from those gerbils and just the pure excitement for that entire sighting is... Okay, so we did our moment of silence. I hope everyone caught their breath. I'm still waiting to catch my breath. I am just completely off my rocker with excitement at the moment. Oh my goodness. I can't even deal. So just so you guys know, I'm like this with you right now, but also if I had guests that were on the back of my vehicle, I would also be doing the same thing. We'd all be going, oh my goodness gracious, did you get that? Did you get the shot? Did you get the video? So now for me with you guys, I'm like, did you get the screenshot? Did you go backwards and review again? Are you going to watch it again later? I'm definitely going to send that off and send it to people and go, look what I saw. Because this is also super interesting. It's something I really love about now working with Safari Live is, like I said about my friend, I can send them. I'm not able to access my camera at the moment, but I have this live on footage for always. It lives on the internet for always. So sometimes it's unfortunate that it lives on the internet for always because you might say something silly, or you get something like this, which is just goes in the archives and you keep it forever. Okay, I'm going to do my best to calm down. I doubt it's going to work. While I'm busy doing that, let's go to James and see what he has to show us.
I would very much like to be gracious right now, to have the magnanimity of spirit to share in the joy that Noel and Viam now feel, but I don't. I just feel bitterness, jealousy, and a general state of dissatisfaction right now. Not even that utterly magnificent sunset, is able to put out the sense of deep self-pity I currently feel for myself. Well, one can only feel self-pity for oneself, really. So, there it is. We are going to watch the sun go down. And I'm sure Noelle is not in the least bit sorry for me. I'm sure she feels quite pleased with her efforts this afternoon, and so she should. But it's not going to change the green shade, the green tinge I have to myself as I contemplate Mvula, my old friend, chasing dogs. I guess we'll just look at thorns as the sun goes down behind them. So it goes. Anyway, on a lighter note, what a spectacular thing you've all seen this afternoon. And it is unusual as we watch the sun go down how often that does seem to happen. How often a male leopard places himself in a position to chase wild dogs off their food. I've seen it a number of times. I mean, this is not to say that what you saw isn't spectacularly rare, and you very often don't see the leopard again. You know, he kind of comes in and disappears. So what you saw there is particularly special. But it is interesting, and I you know, it's got me wondering whether or not those leopards don't perhaps track the dogs to some extent, which is quite interesting. Especially an old leopard like that who will turn to scavenging. So we'll just try and absorb some peace from the sun, get rid of those feelings of deep and abiding envy, and know that, of course, well, we all have our days. I've always felt, actually, the true mark of a human being is when they're able to revel in the joy and achievement of others, rather than feeling, as I do now, jealous. How do you feel, Fergus?
I'm jealous. I'm alright.
You're all right, are you?
Good people.
Though they are good people. They are absolutely good people.
They deserve it.
They deserve it, absolutely. Thank you, Bush Mum. You say, here's a cyber hug for you. That's very kind of you, thank you. I feel better already. What we have done is driven extensively around the last place that Tundi was seen. We've seen no hide nor hair of her. Herbert has looked around too. Nothing, so it's become slightly mysterious as to where Tundi has disappeared to with her little cubs. But hopefully we'll be able to pick up on them. You know, we have a TV show on the 14th of December, 11 p.m. Eastern Time in the United States. The rest of you can watch on the internet if you are not in the United States. And we would really hope, it would just be such fun to be able to show those special new little cubs on our Big Cat Week show. We might be lucky. It's in, what is it now? That's Sunday, 2 weeks. Yeah, tomorrow 2 weeks. It's tomorrow 2 weeks. And so we will be doing our level best to try and find Tundi in the interim with her babies. And hopefully, for whoever's out on foot tomorrow, those dogs will still be around. What a gorgeous evening. What a gorgeous result. Not for, I suppose, the Impala lamb that unfortunately had to sacrifice itself to the pack and to Mvula, but for everyone else concerned. What a spectacular night. It's always nice to hear that it's a special thing, especially if the guide has been out in the bush for as long as Noel has and yet still is so frenzied with excitement. That's just wonderful. It gives you an idea of how very special a sighting like that is. We're going to do one last turn past the Vuyatela or Djuma Dam, and with any luck we'll come across Tingana, but if we don't, well, that's okay. You've had leopard and dogs in one sighting today. I don't think we're going to lose signal here. We should be alright, but just to be aware. And apparently many of you are very excited for the TV show. I'm glad you are. And it will be a special one because we have 3 feeds coming out of the Mara. And we've got 2 walks here, 2 drives, and the tent, which isn't going to be a tent at all. It's going to be on a car. It's going to be on jigger. So that's quite exciting. And so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different feeds, including microscope, rover, and drone. And it is, I don't want to confuse anybody, it is the 14th of December, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. So for us in South Africa, it's going to be on the 15th at 5 in the morning. But for you guys, it's going to be in the United States, 11 p.m. Eastern Time on the 14th of December. All right, let us go back across to Noel, the, what does they say, the cat that got the cream, for the last bit of the drive.
So I would like to say that I've calmed down. I have not calmed down at all. We're sitting by a termite mound that has a little dwarf mongoose that's poking its head out. And this dwarf mongoose is probably like, this lady is crazy, absolutely crazy. Hello. So they're going to go to bed soon. They definitely had an exciting day, as they're a tiny little mammal species, but I have to say, not as exciting as ours. Sorry, Lou, I'm losing you a bit there. Try again. Benedicta, you're curious to know if that wild dog sighting is now one of my favorite experiences. Yeah, for sure. Of course it is. And it's also just super exciting. I was saying to Vildy now, normally, so if I'd had guessed that, I would have been much quieter. But you guys got to hear my crazy person inner monologue and how excited I get with any sort of predator, anything. So yeah, that's definitely, this is good. This is very, very, very good. This is super special all around, the whole experience. Absolutely insane. Vildy was saying as well, this completes his dry spell. He had a little bit of a action dry spell for a couple of weeks, and now that was epic. Absolutely epic. Absolutely epic. Whew. Breathe. Breathe, Noel. Oh, now I can just listen a little bit. The mongoose. Oh, beautiful moon. Oh, we're going to have full moon soon. Oh, gorgeous. Look, you can see the craters. And the rabbit. So in the northern hemisphere, you see the man in the moon. Here we get the rabbit. Just little ears. And his, actually, let's call it a scrub hair, rather. Little ears and the face and then the body. Absolutely stunning. Okay, so wild dog kill, wild dog sleeping, wild dog's greeting, wild dog kill, leopard chasing wild dog, and wild dog chasing leopard. It really, really doesn't get better than that. I just have to say thank you so much from myself and Vildy, and from James and Ferg, and from Jamie and Brent in the Mara. It has been an absolutely epic afternoon. Don't forget to join us tomorrow, 5 o'clock our time. You all must enjoy your evening or day, and we'll see you then.